I'm excited about today. Kratz, I like your hoodie sweatshirt. It's thin, it's a t-shirt, like a sweatshirt, foulterritoryshop.com. I am going to promo us hard for the first minute of the show. It's a big day. Not one, not two, but 3 new shows. And one is very
news
timely
to me. I
today.
just found out right now.
Well, that's what we're here for. Welcome to the fam. Do you want to read these? Read the screen? And I love this graphic always.
Which one am I starting with? Bluebird
Left to right.
territory?
Yeah. And what is that?
That's the CN Tower with the maple leaf.
Do you like these logos?
I do.
Get really,
the Brewer one
really
rocks because you
on.
can have a beer and watch ball.
That's right.
Oof.
Wait, you got to say
the injury
the names.
territory one I'm not really a big fan of just because you're not supposed to touch crutches and I didn't want to see never wanted to go in the training room. So it's not nothing against Will, but it's just more about the fact that there's Band-Aids and Red Crosses and crutches are things you never wanted to see.
It's a beautiful logo.
Oh yeah, and the Tommy John on the J. I forgot. I barely can see that.
You like that,
the
right?
Screen is so far away.
Yeah, but yeah, that.
But everyone has one of those now. Every pitcher has one of those, so they all know what it is. I never had that, so I don't know what it is.
We're trying to connect with them. Kevin Pillar, Ricky Romero, both former Blue Jays, very popular, and Mitch Bannon, who covers the team for The Athletic. Episode 1, out now. KP said, new adventure with some cool dudes. That's going to be really good. You get the position player and pitcher perspective, plus Mitch is following the team every day. Love it. Brewers, Corey Knebel, Mike Moustakas, Kurt Hogue. It's a strong team.
Yep.
Yeah. Kratz, would you like to say hello to your new family members?
I already said hi to them on the real world, Twitter. Okay? Everybody eats. Everybody eats when you're part of the family. Like, come on in. I'm a big fella. I got lots of love for everybody.
Boom. And one of those names is actually our first guest of the day, a breaking news last minute guest because of the rash of injuries hitting our sport. It is Will Carroll joining us right now. He's got an awesome newsletter, which we'll talk about. And of course, we'll cover the show, Injury Territory. Will, great to have you on. But first, let's start with hamate bones because they are taking over the day. Spring training begins, and usually it's pitchers that dominate the beginning of spring training, but this injury has now popped up for Francisco Lindor surgery, Corbin Carroll surgery, and young Jackson Holliday of the Orioles. All of them look like they'll miss the beginning of the season. Maybe Lindor makes it back in time, but what do you think?
Yeah, this is a terrible run of bad luck clusters. We often see these, and because it's all-stars, because it's players that are super fantasy relevant, it makes it seem like, oh no, what is going on? Is it something? No, it just pitches inside and guys not wearing a pad. The hamate bone is right here. It's right basically under the pinky, and it's got kind of a hook on it. So it doesn't heal well, doesn't get a lot of blood flow. That hook never comes back on. So the easiest thing is just to go down in there and either cut that hook off and pull it out or take the whole bone out. They don't love doing that whole bone removal at this point, just because we realize now how complex the wrist is. There's a lot of structure in there, not just bone, but cartilage and ligaments and tendons and blood vessels and nerves. And if it's not all right together, all those little tiny structures, sometimes it gets out of whack. And that's why these injuries are so tough. It's not that bones don't heal. It's that we often see a power drop. It used to be for 6 weeks after. Why 6 weeks? No idea. But for 6 weeks after, guys would just not be able to hit. It was Pablo Sandoval that really epitomized this. He had both of them knocked out. And in both cases, 6 weeks, almost no power. Suddenly, something clicks and he's hitting the ball out of the park again. So for Holliday, for Carroll, for Lindor, a little bit, his is a little bit different in that his was a stress reaction rather than an acute injury where he took a pitch off it. So there is still some question about that, and we're still trying to figure out exactly what's going on there. With Carroll and Holliday, it's as simple as can be, but still terrible because these could have been prevented.
Okay, well, we're gonna have a little quick, not argument, but I'm gonna go against what you said. Actually, I broke my hamate 99% of the time, and I have the scar to prove it. You break it on the knob of your bat swinging. It has nothing to do with getting hit by a pitch. What happens is it's actually your hamate is right here in your hand, and the little hook, and they go in and they take that hook out. But most of the time, it's from, because most guys, I'm sure Kratz used to have it too. We used to call them a turdy. I don't know what the technical term is for it, but you get the little blood things built up from where the knob of your bat. So here, if I grab this bat, right, and you put the knob, most guys hit with the hand off the bat like this. And so that knob sits right where my hamate bone is, right? And so after swing, after swing, after swing, after swing, eventually you hit one, it breaks that little hook off, and it hurts like hell. Trust me, it hurts like hell. And you know who else does this a lot? Golfers do this a lot, because when they hit like a root or they hit a rock or something, it breaks that little hook off. And when you say 6 weeks, 6 weeks is about right. Now, I did mine at the end of the year, so I was in the offseason, didn't matter. But I saw David Ortiz try to play through this, and he lost a lot of his power. But it's not because the pain or whatever it is, you lose it because you lose strength in your hand, because your hand is basically immobilized for 3 to 4 weeks, and then you lose strength in your wrist. So it takes you a little bit of time to get that back. So 6 weeks is conservative, but I tell all these guys, Will, take your time. It's the beginning of the year. Take your time. Make sure you're right. If you miss the first week of the season, it's worth it to get the rest of the time. But it's a weird injury that no one's ever heard of.
It's a great point, because I think this does contrast what happened between these acute injuries and what happened for Lindor. That stress reaction, like you were saying, there are a lot of terms for it where you get that irritation. But now that we have the scanners that can go in there and get the image and see, oh, it's not broken, but something's happening. It doesn't like this. You felt that. You knew something was going on there, and then it finally goes. They're catching this on Lindor before it goes. So what do? Do we go in there and just take the thing out, be done with it, make sure it doesn't happen again? Do we change something he's doing? The bat handle itself, there's the whole axe bat thing and grip changes and things that purport to help with that. So we'll see where it goes. But again, there are ways this could have been prevented, including just wearing a pad over the hand.
Well, it'll kill your show if we prevent all injuries, but there's no such thing as preventing all injuries. Francisco Lindor, out of all these three, is a switch hitter. Is there any chance that they search out the possibility of maybe taking the other one out while he gets the same one done, so that he never has this on the other side?
Yeah. That's an interesting idea, but I don't think most doctors would consider it, because it's healthy. In theory, he's been healthy this whole time. You could do that with any player. We could go in there and replace everybody's ACL and UCL and pull both hammets and do all that at the start of the career and make sure they never happen. But usually doctors are very, very reluctant to do surgeries before they're medically necessary. So I would say no on this, though it's a great idea.
Yeah, but it would still hurt. I mean, listen, even if you switch hit, okay, in a pad, the pad on here does not help from breaking inside. Like, you can wear a pad here all day long, but you actually do this from swinging. I can tell you the exact swing I did it off of. I remember I swung and I was like, that's not right. Okay, so but for Lindor, switch hitter, so he broke his left one, okay, which is his bottom one. You usually break your bottom hand, so I would say theoretically did this hitting right-handed. Okay, so then to go and switch left-handed, it's not the problem of the pain. When I did mine, I could barely move my fingers. My hand was literally stuck like this until they went in and did some stuff.
Because of the nerve inflammation.
Yeah, so technically you would think, oh, why didn't he just hit left-handed? Well, if he doesn't have his top hand strength, then it still won't work. Plus, he also catches left-handed with his glove, so he would have to have the feeling in his hand. So it's not as simple as that. I mean, it sounds great on paper. You're like, just only hit left-handed. But you still need that top hand, and you still need to catch the ball as a shortstop. He's not an outfielder or someone that doesn't get the ball every play. So it's not the best thing. And then for like Corbin Carroll and Jackson Holliday, they broke their right hand on the bottom hand. Corbin Carroll's lefty, so it's a little different. Now Jackson Holliday, but like I told you guys yesterday when we talked about, I couldn't throw the ball back to the pitcher when I did mine. I had to have the umpire. Like, it hurt that. I was like, please, sir, throw it. He's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, just get through this inning. Right, so Jackson Holliday playing second base, the throw would become an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that nerve is very, very involved. The other thing with switch hitters, it is a two-handed game, so there's not a place where you can kind of hide it. There is some theory. We've had more switch hitters have this injury. So because they're doing two different things, is there an imbalance? Is it taking different forces? Nobody's terribly sure of this, but it's something we're getting more of, again, just because we have better scanners. And I do want to lock in on Lindor. His is not fractured. Stress reaction is something we're hearing more and more of because, again, better scanners. We're seeing these things earlier. Can we prevent them? Maybe. Can we learn from them? Absolutely. So figuring out what the best practice for that is something that's still really being figured out.
Hey, well, let's move to some other injuries. I'm actually going to pick a team for this next one, the Toronto Blue Jays. Anthony Santander, shoulder surgery. That was a problem for him last year. It looks like he's going to miss most of the year. Shane Bieber is a little bit delayed. Bowden Francis with surgery that'll knock him out for the year. So what do you think of these early Blue Jays injuries on a day where, yeah, unfortunately or fortunately, we launch a Blue Jay show and an injury show. They're all colliding.
Yeah, maybe it's you. No. It's one of those things where I think we need to take a real hard look at this in the way the pattern went for these three injuries, because they're three very different ones. You got Francis, which is one of those where, unfortunately, this is the time of year where we're going to see a bunch of UCLs, where guys had an off season where maybe they didn't ramp up right, maybe they're a little too early, maybe that thing was on a thread and was going to go, but now they get back out there, get the adrenaline going, they're going for a job, and it snaps. Just unfortunate. With Bieber, remember that he was coming back from Tommy John surgery last year when he was traded. So he went a little bit further than they ever expected, though certainly the Jays are glad they had him, and he was very, very good. So they just kind of slowed his offseason. So this was planned. So this isn't really another injury. This is just sort of, they're saying forearm fatigue to give them a reason for why this is a late ramp. On the other hand, Santander ran into a wall last year, and it was a padded wall. It was just one of those things that happens in baseball. You can't take a look at the Blue Jays medical staff and go, this one's on you. But the days and the dollars are going to count, not just last year, but now after having the surgery, after this labrum became really, really problematic for him and symptomatic and painful, they've got to go in there and repair it. And this was an injury that 10 years ago we didn't do well with. If you can remember Matt Kemp, it took him years after his surgery. Now, another one, Cody Bellinger. He struggled the year after, but has been very, very solid since. Even pitchers that have this surgery, Dr. Neil Elatrosh, the Dodger surgeon, kind of changed the way the surgery was done, different knotting, different anchors that are put in, and just those different techniques have made the return a lot better, a lot quicker. So Santander should have a good chance of coming back, but that does not help the Jays in 2026.
Is that why it's happening now? Because they were like, we're going to rehab the absolute crap out of it, and Santander just could not get to the point where the rehab was enough. Yeah. Because, is it an injury that's more extensive rehab because of the fear that you'll never quite get back with the surgery?
No. Great question, though, Erik. The answer is they rehab the heck out of it because they try to avoid surgery. And this is always the answer. Who was Logan Evans up in Seattle was rehabbing, trying to avoid Tommy John surgery, couldn't, had to have it, and had it in late January. And people are like, well, why didn't you just have it? Because surgery is hard. Even as automatic as something like Tommy John surgery is, it's still only, I think the last study was 83% of pitchers come back from it. What if you're one of the other 17? What if something goes wrong, which happens? So you always try to avoid injuries, always, no matter what. For Santander, he rehabbed the heck out of it, hoping that he was going to be able to come back from it. He was out pretty much the entire second half, missed the playoffs when they really could have used him, but were pretty darn good without him. This is one where they tried, and once he dialed it back up, it broke down. That labrum is it's that tiny piece of cartilage inside the glenoid fossa there in the shoulder. And when it's torn and becomes symptomatic, it's just tough. It's one of the most painful things you'll ever have. That's one I could show you the scar on for me. And when Frank Jobe tried to put mine back together, there were 3 times he did that operation. Me, Oral Hershiser, and one other college pitcher, and then he stopped doing it because it didn't work. How do you think that makes me and Oral feel?
That's not a sentence that I really want to keep repeating. So I'm going to go to Bowden Francis. Bowden Francis, a UCL. One of the things you said, and this isn't necessarily about Bowden Francis, but it's about what's the percentage of UCL injuries from February and March compared to any other 2 months during the season? Is that percentage absolutely that much higher? And if we ask for low-hanging fruit with the UCL injuries that we're always trying to get, how can we fix that? Doesn't that feel like if that's a 25% of them, man, if we could just cut that in half, you're cutting out so many UCL or Tommy John surgeries.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. It was about 40%. We would have half the injuries before, I think it was May 1st. And we see this pattern over and over. The NFL used to be that 50% of their injuries happened before week 2 of their season. And that's changed a little bit with changes they've made to contact in camp. But it is the same thing in baseball. We've seen a reduction of this because we understand ramps now. Guys used to shut down, and you would start throwing again in late December, early January, and work your way back up. And even spring training is still structured that way. And then you'd go out there for a couple innings and 3 innings and 4 innings and 5 innings and build your way back up. We understand a lot more of that right now, and you can very scientifically build these ramps and keep your workload in that green zone. So we are seeing a reduction in this. The problem is we're seeing those not just go away, but stretch out, and we're seeing more into June, July, and August.
Well, we're talking about injuries before the season even started, really before the first day of spring training. And Chris Bryant is already on the 60-day IL because of a lower lumbar degenerative disc disease.
Yeah.
Can you explain what the heck that is? And he's going to miss 57 games already. He only played, in 11 last year? So, I mean, can he come back from this? Because he still has 2 or 3 more years left on this massive deal he signed.
Yeah. I said last year that I didn't think we'd ever see Chris Bryant play again. And I'll stand by that. We may see a game or 2 here, but he has a degenerative disc in his back. He's going to need some level of surgery at some point. He's already had it. If you can think another Denver athlete, I guess you can think of him that way, it was Peyton Manning, who had 2 surgeries on his neck before he had to have a fusion, was able to come back, win a Super Bowl after that. So you can come back from it, but it's difficult. Baseball players with all the torsion, I can't think of a player that's had a fusion that it didn't in their career. Prince Fielder obviously comes to mind. His was in his neck. But when those discs in between the vertebrae go, bad things happen. There are too many nerves in there. There are too many problems. The fact is he just can't twist. And if you can't twist, you certainly can't hit a baseball, let alone throw a baseball.
A lot of the rhetoric coming out of Colorado is guys don't recuperate. Is this an injury that was happening and now he's in Colorado, he's always in the higher elevation? It led to a faster decline or a faster impact of this injury, or is that all fake and just something people say?
No, I think certainly there is a high altitude effect, not necessarily this, because this is anaerobic. It's not like his spine is breathing. I assume he gets a decent amount of oxygen and that he's breathing in and out. The disc is one where it's structural. We often hear, it's not structural. What is structure? And when it comes to it, that disc is damaged, it's herniated, it's hardening, it's calcifying. Those nerves that go through there are being pinched. So he's having numbness, probably pain down his leg. A lot of people out there have probably experienced some sort of sciatica pain. As you get older, your body basically calcifies, which is one of the things we're learning with all this anti-aging research that's going on right now and biohacking. But for this, there's not really a whole lot they can do. You put in a cage, you fuse those vertebrae together, We've seen some advances. There was attempts to transplant discs. There are some external discs that they can put in there, but we haven't had a lot of success from it. And again, it comes down to, can he twist? And when he twists, what sort of pain is he going through? At his age, he's looking at very extensive back surgery. Again, it's a very, very common injury. It's just devastating for the skills of baseball.
Okay, well, that was my question. Is I just recently had a friend that had back surgery and felt better like right away. I mean, had numbness in their leg, boom, had back surgery, and they don't play baseball, but they're just a normal person, and they're going to be back to normal, they said, in 4 to 6 weeks. Now, is that not something that Kris Bryant could do, or he just needs something that's so much more in depth that it wouldn't work?
No, it comes down to the very specific skills of baseball. I mean, you understand better than most what kind of forces go into a swing. So if you're not able to twist, if you're putting that much pressure on it, even if they go in there and fuse those vertebrae together, now suddenly his spine doesn't move the same way. His vertebrae don't have that same cushion. They're locked back in. It just doesn't turn. Could he still hit? Maybe. But again, I've got an absolute blank on players that have had that and come back from it. If you're a regular guy, can you go back to work? Yep. But can you go back and play baseball? The simple answer is no. The real answer is probably not. Let's see.
Hey, Will, a clever tweet this morning. It's, again, unfortunate when you're talking injuries, but when we threw out there that we were launching 3 new shows, someone replied to the injury territory one and said, "Oh, I didn't realize you guys rebranded Hammer Territory, which is our Brave show." Now, they went through it last year. I said, well played. I mean, it sucks, but well played. And they're already going through it this year. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the 3 names that I think are standing out for them too very recently. Even this morning, Walt Weiss, new Braves manager, mentioned how the situation for Joe Jimenez is very complex. He's already on the 60-day IL. He used to be a valuable part of the bullpen. Spencer Schwellenbach, very valuable part of the rotation. Dave O'Brien, who covered the team up until this year, was working for The Athletic covering the team and said, there was a velo uptick for Schwellenbach. He was speculating. That's soon after that fractures his elbow. Now has this issue that might lead to bone spur surgery. And then lastly, we can finish with Ha-Seong Kim slipping on ice. It's kind of like slipped on ice, but it's pretty serious because he's going to miss serious time for them too. So your thoughts on those 3?
Yeah, with Kim, it's unfortunate. These sorts of things happen. These people, we forget they're human, and things happen. We'll laugh about certain things. Who was it? Clint Barmas that fell down the stairs with a deer or something. There's always those quirky injuries that we can talk about and fill my column with laughter. But people do fall. What was Jonathan Lucroy? Dropped a suitcase on his hand. Things like that. Slipping on ice is just slipping on ice. It's unfortunate. Put that ankle back together and hope that, again, he has the skills with all that lateral motion that he needs. With Schwellenbach,
Wait,
very
hold up real quick, Will, just because I think the ankle was last year. And I blitzed you with this one, so sorry. But I think it was, I have here, surgery to repair torn tendon right middle finger. Right? I think the ankle was last year.
Completely forgot.
You got a lot of injuries flowing, so I'm throwing it in.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I was thinking about the ankle from last year. I'd forgotten it was the hand. My bad. But it's a tendon. So again, you got to worry about the grip. You got to be able to put that back together, and we do see that. It's just unfortunate how it happened. For Schwellenbach with the bone and the bone spurs, this is a difficult one to understand because bone spurs are really simple. We've all played Operation. If you've got a bone chip, it's come off the bone. With a bone spur, it's just a little piece of bone, kind of like a blister that's come off. But what's it touching? Is it touching the UCL? Is it touching the ulnar nerve? Is it touching one of the other things? And is it hurting something? There was a whole debate in the orthopedic surgery community about whether you took bone spurs off. Were they a reaction of the body that were telling us something was going on with the UCL? We still don't know a really good answer to that. But if the bone spur is out there poking a nerve, you've got to take it out. But it's probably the body's signal telling you something's going on. With Jimenez and a lot of these players with the 60-day, these are knowns. Most of these are roster moves, honestly. And you're getting a guy off so you can bring somebody else onto the 40-man, get another NRI on the roster. These were knowns coming in that they weren't going to be back until long time. Corbin Burns, we know, isn't going to be back until midway through the season. There's a number of other guys on Tommy John's who they're going to go to the 60. So that's one of those situations where I'm not sure it's quite as meaningful. It's just one of those roster things.
Hey, before we get to Burns, I see him on the screen. Just on Jimenez, just to provide context for that one, and the reason I'm asking about it, he's been out of baseball for a while now. So after 2024, left knee surgery, ended up missing all of last year. And he said it happened, this issue with his knee, during the season in 24, didn't realize until after, went for further evaluation in November, right? Then that spills into 2025, misses the whole year, shows up to camp. They're calling this one for the 60-day IL, left articular cartilage injury. So I'm guessing that's still related to the knee. And that's when Walt Weiss said it's very complex. And it almost seemed like he could miss the whole season again. And that's where Braves fans, I don't know if they necessarily expected much, but they're like, damn, no Joe Jimenez for 2 years?
Yeah, because that degeneration, you think about how much pressure you're putting on your knees. Either knee, the first knee surgery was to clean it out, try to get everything going. But that articular cartilage, which is basically a covering over the bone behind the kneecap, as they come together, it rolls. And if that cartilage is torn or rough or gone, you start getting bone on bone. That gets really bad. If the meniscus is torn, if he's had a previous issue with that, I don't know in this specific case. But it used to be they just pull that meniscus out and you'd move on with life. But we realized that probably wasn't the best idea. So now they take out as little as possible, or they try to stitch it back together, which has about a 50% rate. We've seen that. Mason Wynn coming back from a very minor meniscectomy. A lot of people were saying, why is he coming back in 6 months from this? Because there was an off season. So with Jimenez, articular cartilage is tough. And honestly, the long-term answer is going to be knee replacement. And we see that a lot. Lindsey Vonn, who's obviously been in the news a lot for her knee, had a partial knee replacement on one knee when she retired. And that would be a very similar solution for someone with the condition that Jimenez has.
All right, last one for me. Josh Hader, elite closer for the Astros. Once he went out last year, they kind of faltered at the end. Not all his fault because he wasn't there, but you lose a big piece. Now it's saying he has bicep inflammation. Is that bicep tendonitis? Are we talking about actually in Scott Braun's biceps, or are we talking about like the connected part closer to the shoulder?
Yeah, we're likely, we haven't got confirmation. I've been trying to lock this down after initially seeing that he was having this problem. A lot of people think bicep. They think, the big muscles like you and AJ have. But it's often in the shoulder. The bicep does attach the two muscles of the bicep, hence the name, come up into the shoulder. Same with the pectoralis major. We think of the pec being chest, but it also comes up and attaches in a very similar place. They actually cross. So if you've got an inflammation up there, is this an arm injury or is this a shoulder injury? I would argue it's more a shoulder injury. He had that left shoulder strain in the back. So is he offloading? Has he changed his mechanics? There's a lot of different ways that this could happen, but the fact that this is occurring at the point where he should be well up in his ramp, guys come into camp very easily. We know he's been throwing since at least January. So the fact that he's getting inflammation this early indicates those forces still aren't balanced, that something is going on that his shoulder can't handle. And what's the underlying cause for that? Well, they're going to have a ton of data. They're going to have the biomechanical data in game and out of game. The Astros are going to have their hands on him. They're going to have however many scans he's had, which is probably a lot. And that's a very good medical staff down there. So it'll be interesting to watch how this goes and how available he is and how much this early, hopefully minor situation can be managed and get him back on the field.
Wow, we covered a lot, and yet there are still a million other injury notes from the last 48 hours. So I'm just going to mention them, but really as a teaser that if you want to ask Will about them, then follow his newsletter. You can also, send him a message in a number of ways. You can watch Injury Territory, but just to name a few, Corbin Burns saying that he expects to be back around the All-Star break. Reese Olson out for the year, shoulder surgery for him for the Tigers, which helps to explain why they signed Framber Valdez and Justin Verlander over the past week.
And kept it secret so they could.
Exactly, right? I mean, there's a leverage game there.
Reese Olson, too.
That's what I just said, Reese Olson. Yeah, Reese Olson.
Said Jackson Jobe, sorry.
Oh, well, Jackson Jobe's out too, right?
Yeah.
So Jobe, I don't know if he's coming back.
But everyone's like, Reese Olson, and then he's like, oh, by the way, he's out for the year.
Yeah.
He had shoulder surgery.
They had that news, plus they were fighting Scooble. They wait till that ARB battle's done, then they signed 2 pitchers for pretty good cash.
Yeah.
Good move, good recovery by the Tigers. But Will, last most important question for today is to just give everyone a little lowdown of what to expect with Injury Territory, because we've had many shows that are team-oriented, prospect, insider, etc. I think this one's probably the most surprising to join the network, but people are pretty excited to learn what you're going to do on there in terms of talking about injuries, which can help fantasy, real life following your team, and some of the guests you're expecting to have too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited about this for precisely the reasons we did today. We're going to be talking about exactly this, the injuries that have happened, why they happen, and hopefully give you some context. I'm going to have a lot of people from inside the game, athletic trainers, doctors, sports scientists, people doing data behind the game. How are they looking at it? What is AI going to do to the inside of a training room? We'll have to do a whole episode with AJ about superstitions and there. I can tell you whole stories about Sammy Sosa not wanting to talk to me, or why he injured his back sneezing when I was there. So it's one of those things where there's so many different ways this can go. And everybody knows that injuries can change a season. How many different times do we said, if we just had this guy, what would have happened if? And I'm going to explain the context behind the injuries, not just list the injuries. Though I'm always excited to come on here and hang out with you guys.
Will, you're the man. Great segment here. Very timely to open up the show. Kratz said conspiracy theory that this show has been planned to launch on this day, and then all these injuries pop up. We are not doing that voodoo stuff, okay? Will, thank you. Appreciate you. We'll be talking.
Thanks a lot, guys.
And there are the new shows for you. Injury Territory on the right. Middle is Brewer Territory. Knable and Hogue on that first episode. Pilar, Romero, and Bannon on Bluebird Territory. We'll talk more about those as the day continues. Hey, sometimes we do a little game on Foul Territory called Role Play. It's not what you think. We're just picking up our phones and we're talking as if we're somebody in baseball. But if you'd like that phone to be a little bit cheaper for making phone calls, who should you call, Kratz?
Mint Mobile, because you get all the same speed with a tiny little price.
Same coverage, tiny price. Ready to stop paying more than you have to? New customers can make the switch today, and for a limited time, get unlimited premium wireless for just $15 per month. Switch now at mintmobile.com/territory. That's mintmobile.com/territory. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12 months. Plan required, $15 a month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Over 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com. Save money. Get after it, FT fam.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
This segment gets a huge boost when camps open back up because you get quotes left and right for the rest of the baseball season. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, formerly of the Blue Jays, now of the Red Sox, said the Blue Jays were glad the Red Sox lost in the playoffs last year because they thought that the Yankees were an easier matchup. Just telling it like it is. IKF, a former Yankee as well. A response from Aaron Boone, manager of the New York Yankees. He heard about it and he said this morning, I guess he was right. Little surprising to hear IKF say that, but whatever. That's fine. That's something you would say. It's real. Like, players do root for one situation or another because they feel like they have
match
a
up
better
better.
matchup. Yeah.
But who does IKF play for now?
Red Sox.
Oh, he's going to say the Red Sox were better. Smart by him. Very smart by him. Also, who did they beat in the playoffs?
Who did the Blue Jays beat?
Yeah.
The Yankees.
Oh, so once again, smart.
Okay, so then let me ask you this, since I just want your real take. Do you think that it was smart and it was true, or just it was smart? Like, do you
No,
think?
I think it was both for him.
I think the players might have actually been feeling that way.
Listen, what did we hear last year when the Dodgers, last year after the Dodgers, 2 years ago now, the Dodgers beat the Yankees. Oh, we knew we were going to beat them. Blah, blah, right? And then this year, IKF, this is the first one we heard. The Blue Jays didn't do that because they didn't go on to win the World Series, so they didn't get all the spoils. But also, IKF was like, he's on the Red Sox, and they beat the Yankees. Smart play by him. He also played for the Yankees at one point for a little short.
He's the new Steve Pearce, playing all around the AL East.
He didn't hit the Rays yet, though. He's got the Rays.
No, I mean, he's got time. He's got a few years left.
This is smart, and it might be right, according to him.
World Series MVP Steve Pearce. Okay, Scott, let's make sure you say his name correctly. But was he wrong? No, Aaron Boone said he wasn't wrong. Boone was like, I kind of know IKF. I didn't really see this one coming from him. But they were 8-5. 8-5 against them during the season, the Blue Jays were. So they felt like they matched up well. What did the Blue Jays do well? They have starting pitching that pitches. They don't just huck the rock up there and see what happens. They have starting pitching that's able to hit locations, mix and match, I think better than a lot of organizations, a lot of starting rotations do. But I think the Blue Jays did that very well, and that's the best way to beat the Yankees. If you try to outstuff the Yankees when they're hitting, you're going to lose. You can't outstuff the Yankees consistently outstuff the Yankees, in my opinion. I mean, you saw what happened to Louis Varland home run. He basically was going to hit Aaron Judge, and he kept it fair down the left field line for that home run. So, yeah, he wasn't wrong.
Good for him. We love that. This is another good one. Mike Hazen, who I think is one of the better interviews in baseball.
If you can get him.
Office executive. Yeah, sometimes tough to get, but when you get him, good interview.
We got him last year in spring training. He was awesome.
He was. General manager of the Diamondbacks for a while now. Said he apologized to Ketel Marte for how public the trade rumors became this offseason. This coming from Nick Picoro, who covers the team on the beat. The two recently have had a number of conversations talking about Marte and Hazen, including going to dinner together. And Hazen feels good about where things stand.
Good for him. Good for Mike Hazen. Mike Hazen's been through a lot. If you don't know Mike Hazen's story, Google it. He's been through a lot personally. He's had a nice run as GM. He's a great guy if you get to talk to him. And him and Torey Lovullo have been kind of like this since they went to Arizona together from Boston. Good for Mike Hazen. He just showed that there is a human element to this game, and he's sorry to Ketel Marte. So good for Mike Hazen. I know that we take shots and we say that, how we feel about a lot of things, and a lot of people think it's negative a lot, but that's just kind of the nature of the business that we're in, to tell it, because nobody wants to hear, hey, everything's hunky-dory and it's butterflies and bubbles and champagne every day, right?
Yeah.
So, but for Mike Hazen to come out and say this and to do this, I love it. I think it's great, and I think more of this happens than people hear about.
I think this is twofold. I think this was to talk about hey, sorry you were in the trade rumors, all that stuff. But also, there was a little bit of clubhouse stuff going on. We don't know the extent of it. We know that Ketel Marte, was missing because of the robbery of his house, and there was different things that were going on. And it's an opportunity to move on and grow from it. You hope, because he's one of your superstars, and he is a superstar year in and year out. That's why he would have brought in an absolute boat of a trade prospects had somebody actually pulled the trigger. And good for Mike Hazen. If you go back and watch the interview that we had him, a lot of what he talked about, a lot of what Torey Lovullo talks about is that people first aspect. What does that mean? And to me, those are the orgs that guys want to play for. Those are the orgs that deal with issues, that if they had an issue with Ketel Marte, hopefully now it's ironed out and the dude can go out and get some more MVP votes.
What if Mike Hazen threw out there what he was looking for and wasn't quite getting it, but then a team calls him? This is just like a no chance now, like a zero?
No.
Or is it
No, absolutely.
No. You went to
No, but he's just saying, I'm sorry it got so public. He's not saying, now maybe he had a different conversation with Marte and said, hey, we're not trading you.
Yeah.
But as far as we know, if someone blows him away, he's still on the block, I would think.
Because you can only trade him for a little bit more. Once
he hits that 10-5, he can't go anywhere.
Yeah, he's going to rack up no trade rights
and then
basically at the beginning of the season.
Something?
it might even be April or May. Yeah, whatever it is, you might be right.
If it doesn't happen in spring training, it's not happening.
Then it's not happening. Yeah, but if a team loses a big player, and then they're like, screw it, add the top pitching prospect or whatever it was that he wanted.
Yeah,
he might think about it. He can still get traded, and it to me it looks like it's what's a
April.
full season? 182 days or 172 days?
I don't know.
It's in April.
Yeah, I mean, if it's 172 days, he needs 10 more days. But he can still be traded. He just has to say yay or nay to being traded. It's not like it's completely off the table. It just he has to agree to it.
It just gets much more complicated.
Oh, totally tougher.
Yes. All right, we got some signings to hit.
Happening fast, Scott.
We're moving today. Evan Phillips, 1 year, $6.5 million. Kind of forgot that he was still on the market.
I didn't know he was a free agent because he got hurt, so he missed so much time.
Mm-hmm. Dude's good though.
Yeah.
He was closing for them 2 years ago for part of the year. So he's back. Dodgers really needed an arm.
Yes.
I'm kind of joking.
They used them all, so they need all the arms they can get. When you say
True.
they need an arm, yes, they actually do because they've, I guess is Gratterall back? Kopech's still a free agent.
True.
Evan Phillips is nasty when he's right. Trinan, they don't know what they're going to get. Tanner Scott was not very good last year. I mean, they have Edwin Diaz, and they, our next guest, Justin Wrobleski, he helped them out huge, but they need all the – listen, one thing about the Dodgers, they have depth because they go out and sign guys for depth.
Yeah, I mean, they DFA'd Anthony Bonda, who is probably going to get traded to a team that can really use him. They just DFA'd Ben Rortvedt, who was a big part of the catcher.
Yeah.
Right, but ended up getting some PT because of the injuries. So, nice little pickup here. Phillips is 31, and he's not back right away, just for the record. He's still recovering from TJ. The expected return is midseason, around July. Next up, Jose Quintana, 37-year-old, 15th big league season. Colorado Rockies coming in hot in February. They were sleeping on us for most of the offseason, and here they come. I mean, they need to get some...
Yeah, but this is the signings the Rockies do.
But they need this. I mean, they need to fill
these
innings.
are smart signings.
They are.
Because guess what? If Jose Quintana goes out and pitches well, they trade him. They trade him in June, July, and they get a prospect that can possibly help him out. This is Paul DePodesta, the new head of baseball. They're making smart moves. These are the guys you sign because then you can hopefully turn them, and it's not going to cost them a ton of money. Then you hopefully turn them into something that can help you down the road. So, great. I mean, Q, I'm sorry you have to go pitch in Colorado, but I love you. But at least you're getting paid and you get to pitch again.
And nowadays, they evaluate on what your stuff looks like. So even if the ERA is high, I mean, they're well aware of what's going on there. $6 million for Quintana, and you figure Colorado's going to pay about half of that, and then they're going to flip him. But yeah, last year had some injuries, but still with Milwaukee, just shy of a 4 ERA, a little over 130 innings. I mean, still can eat innings, and he's had an above average ERA plus for a long time now. Going back to trying to find the year where he wasn't at that mark. I think it's 2021. Yeah, was the last time he wasn't above an ERA plus of 100. Eats innings effectively.
Can't find a job because he doesn't throw 95 plus. He's going to go out and continue to give to his team. This is a guy that's very locked into each one of his starts. I think it'll be interesting to see how these last two signings, I'm forgetting who the Rockies just signed. Savali? Was it Savali? No, he signed with the A's. Anyway, not getting strikeout guys. Thank you, Shigano. Not getting strikeout guys. How is that going to play in Colorado? Now, I'm not worried about the homers. I'm worried about balls in play. It's just a lot of area to cover. So we'll be interested. I'll be interested to see because he had below a 4 ERA. You'd think a guy like that would be a nice little pickup for somebody's fourth or fifth rotation spot, but I guess it wasn't meant to be until Colorado came a-knocking.
That's right. Hey, let's change gears for a moment. Our next guest is ready. And it is Justin Wrobleski of the Dodgers. He is a World Series champ. He's joining us right now. Hey, Justin, great to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you today, and how was your offseason heading into camp here?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad to be on here with you guys. Off season's been great. It's starting to ramp up. So short off season, but that's kind of how you want it, right? So it's been good.
How do you handle that, the short offseason? Was there anything done differently for you to make sure that you felt okay heading into camp here? And it seems like one of the themes for the Dodgers in general will be, let's be careful with everyone. It's a marathon, and that plan worked for them in 2025, right?
Yeah, I think answering your first question, I think I had some good experience with it last year. I know I wasn't on the postseason rosters and everything last year, but I was still at Stay Hot Camp, staying ready for the season. So I kind of had a little bit of taste of how to do that and how to kind of work through a little bit shorter of a time to get ready, especially with us going to Japan last year. So this year's a little longer than that, a little more time than that. So I think kind of figuring that out last year helped, and then just kind of more of the same this year.
Does it help or hurt you, Justin, that you're there early? You kind of mentioned it that you had to be there early last year for the Japan series, but with the WBC, you're there early. I'm guessing you're in camp. Did you guys report yet? I don't know. Have you guys reported
Our
yet?
report tomorrow is the official physicals and all that fun stuff. So, but a lot of guys are already out here.
That's what I thought. So does that help you or hurt you? Because it does condense the offseason, but it also makes you throw more. And for someone like you, it also in spring training, because some of your guys aren't going to be there. The Dodgers, we know, don't push everybody. Gives you a chance to maybe get a few more innings and show them more of how valuable you can be.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I think to each guy it's different. I personally am not a guy that takes a ton of time off. Just I've tried it really one off season in my professional career, and I didn't really like the way I felt coming out of it. So for me, it's like this year, for example, I took probably a week and a half off, and then I was throwing again. So um, I don't love to take a ton of time off. I feel like I lose feel. I feel like I stiffen up a little bit, and I think if you look at a lot of guys in the past that have played the game for a long time, a lot of them don't take a ton of time off. So I felt like that was the best thing for me. And yeah, like you said, I think there's a lot of opportunity. Even though we're filled up, I think for a guy like me that can kind of provide, wear multiple different hats with this team. I hope to continue to prove that I can do that, and whether it's in a starting capacity, whether it's in a long man capacity, whether it's in leverage, low leverage, whatever. I think just proving that versatility is helpful for a team like this. And I think also a lot of it with how we run things speaks to the amount of talent that we have in our organization and how good they are at developing guys. Because, you look around and pretty much everybody you see is really, really good. And a lot of guys, in our locker room and even in AAA would be getting chances with other teams. So it's a great organization to be a part of, obviously. And I think, it pushes each and every one of us to be better.
Right. When I spent most of my career in the minor leagues, people would always say, I'd rather be in the big leagues than in AAA with a World Series team. We get to ask you this. You, unfortunately, had to spend time in AAA. You just mentioned it, how good the team is, how, everything. Would you rather be on the Dodgers and know there's a chance you're going to AAA like you had last year, but the World Series, or Justin Wrobleski, third starter in a rotation for any of the other teams that doesn't quite have the best chance?
Yeah, I think it's a funny question. I've definitely thought about it before. I've been asked it before, and I think you love to pitch in the big leagues. I think pitching in the big leagues is ultimately the everyone's goal and what you want to do, and obviously you get paid a little better too. So that's not bad. But I think being with this team, I think we're gonna look back 10, 15 years from now and be like, man, that was a special thing to be a part of. And not everybody gets the chance to pitch in postseason games and be a part of these, postseason runs. And, I've been a part of two teams that have won World Series now. So it's hard to say. I definitely wouldn't trade the rings for the world. I love to win. I love to, get that feeling and kind of pitch in games that matter. And it's also tough because at the same end, like, yeah, I'd love to, be starting games and kind of get the chance to do that. And but I think, I love to win. So I think wherever I go, I want to win. And I know that's not always the case a lot of places, but just wherever I'm going to get opportunity, whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else, whether it's anywhere, I think, you want to win. And I think it's hard to, trade stuff that you can't really put a price on. So I think final answer, I think I'd rather be with this team than any other team, just because it's a really, really special thing to be a part of.
Justin, don't lie. Someday you'll be a part of Team Poland. I'll be the manager, and that'll be like 2030 in the WBC. So that will take over all of this rest of this World Series crap you're talking about.
Exactly. That'll be number
WBC
one. That'll be
means
number
so much
one.
more. Yeah,
That'll
for
be
sure.
number one.
For sure. Scott and Erik say that WBC means more than the World Series, but we don't have time to get into that. We'll just let you enjoy your 2 rings, okay? But I do want to go back to the World Series. I do want to go back to the World Series because you had two really important things that you did in this World Series. One, you pitched in the 18-inning game, and you pitched in like the sixth and seventh inning, and then it went 11 innings, and you had nothing to do. So I want to know what you were doing. And then 2, we used to have Andres Gimenez on here all the time. Why did you throw at him, and why did you start a fight with him? Because he's like the nicest guy in the whole world.
All right, so question number one. During that game, it was kind of like, it was pretty funny because, like, after you come out of the game, honestly, for me, it's like during the game, you're fine, like, because that's kind of your realm. Like, you're kind of in control of what's going on. You're in control of your, prep and getting ready and all this and that. And, then you go in the game and you're still in control there because, like, that's what you do. That's your domain. I think for me, I like to think of it as like, I am there to perform. I'm there to pitch my best. I'm there to, do all that. And so just kind of you're in that mindset, that mode that you get into when you play. And then when you come out, it's like, there's a lot more nerves there when you come out than when you're in the game. So I was just kind of hanging with the boys, really, the crew that was there that wasn't on the roster. And we just had a great group and just kind of hanging out, watching the game, doing anything we could to try and get some runs, outfit changes, shoe changes, all this and that. And it finally ended up working. We would have won the game probably about 3 or 4 times if the marine layer wasn't so heavy that night. Like, I think Teo had a ball that was scorched. It's a home run most days. Freddie even had one earlier in the game that probably would have been a home run most days. But it was real heavy and kind of cold that night. So, like, not cold, but like LA chilly, whatever. So the ball wasn't flying as much. And yeah, but it was a really crazy experience. And then what obviously Will ended up doing in that game was crazy, and just kind of watching it all unfold was wild. That's my answer number 1. Number 2, obviously, once you get to someone at 2 strikes, that is the best time to throw at them. No, but like, I'm not trying to throw at anybody. My second back-to-back of my career, obviously came up as a starter. I'm sure that had something to do with it. I'm sure, World Series juice had something to do with it. And yeah, unfortunately, just had 3 go. My miss is up and arm side, and usually people get out of the way, and he tried and he didn't, and it hit him, and I wasn't trying to hit him, but he was upset, and obviously it's a heat of the moment thing. Like, you're both out there competing, and he said something to me, so I said something back, and yeah, it's just the game we love, right? Like, it's just, you're out there competing at the highest level in the biggest moments, and sometimes, I'm sure he'd probably say something similar. You just kind of black out and stuff happens, and that's the game, and that's why we love it. But yeah, obviously there's no intent there, and it's kind of crazy that it all happened on that stage, because I think that's the first time the benches have ever cleared with me on the mound or anything like that has ever happened. But that's just kind of who I am when I'm out there. I think I have to be more of like I don't know, it's hard to explain, but some guys have to be real calm. I'm kind of the opposite of that, and that's just something you learn as you play.
You did say that was your first back-to-back, correct?
Second. I had one against Cincinnati, I believe, but I think the second part of that back-to-back was like a third or something.
Okay, so take us to the end of Game 7 when Yamamoto came out and was like, Wrobleski, here's a back-to-back. I'll take care of this.
It was the coolest shit I've ever seen. I'm excuse my language, but it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I remember, because that game, obviously I was a little more like, if game 3, the one that went really long, like, I was nervous when I came out of the game. Game 7, it was like, oh my gosh, like, I still knew, like, I still had a good feeling we were going to win the game, but, like, the way that game happened was just, I get chills just talking about it. Like, so many cool things happened. And, I'm in the weight room, and in Toronto, the weight room is kind of right next to the dugout right there, in the new renovations or whatever. And, so I was pacing in the weight room, and, I see the lights turn off, and I look up, and I was like, is that Yama like running in? And it sure as hell was. And, he came in, and just crazy, man. Just he's a dog. He's you know worth way more than what he's paid. Even if he's being paid all these millions of dollars, he's a dog. He's not like the traditional, like what you think of as like an ace type pitcher. Like, he's not. He's just a special talent, man. His ability to manipulate the ball, and his ability to make pitches when it matters. And I think that was just a testament to kind of who he is as a person and who he is as a player. He's the man. And I was really, really super, honestly, not only like was it the coolest thing I've ever seen, I was just super happy for him, because he deserves every moment like that, because he's just the man. And it's been fun to see him work the past couple of years.
All right, you had a Hall of Famer in your bullpen in the World Series. Did you ever look over at Kershaw and go, like, how is this for this guy? Like, I get it. I've been starting in AAA. This guy's been starting in the show for decades. Like, how is he in the bullpen? And did you guys have to kind of like, hey, relax, Clayton. Like, this is a long game.
Yeah, it's funny because Sheehan was the same way. She like he be in the bullpen. I remember the first couple of games when he was down there. It was just like, for a lot of those guys that they've been starting forever, it's like a little bit of like they don't know what to do with themselves, because when you're starting, you have such a like regimented, like, I'm doing this, then I'm doing this, then I'm doing this, then I'm doing this, and then the game started, and then you're just pitching. But in the pen, it's just like a big, like, there's just a lot more anxiety, a lot more, and if you haven't experienced it or learned how to like work through it or use it to your advantage, it's tough. And I think Kirsch, even this being his last year, it was just like he was still trying to learn from the guys that were down there on how to do it. And even asking younger guys like Jack and I and whatever, like, that's one thing I noticed about Kirsch is like he was always willing to learn. And that's kind of, again, another thing that makes him great is I think he was always willing to change things and do things to make himself better, no matter, who it was from. And that was something I thought was really cool about him, is he was just asking around everybody, like, what do you guys do? What do you guys do? Just kind of figuring it out. And obviously he did a good job, and, came in and got that huge out in the long game, and then was about to come in there in that game 7. So, but yeah, it's funny. It's a tough transition to make. I think it's easier for some guys than others for whatever reason. And but yeah, it's a crazy thing, and it was really crazy to kind of look over there and sit in the bullpen with Kirsch at the end of his career, and it's just like, what is going on? Like, because you talked to me 10 years ago and say, hey, you're going to be in a World Series, and you're going to be sitting in the bullpen with Kirsch, and even just being a part of I'd say one of the best baseball teams of all time in these past 2 years, and it's pretty crazy.
Justin, did anybody on your team, and I know he's Clayton Kershaw, ever say, Kirsch, dude, keep your shirt on, buddy, for the rest of us dads like me? Like, right? Like, I would never just be like, I'm going to walk around constantly with my shirt off at my age. Now, I'm much older than Kirsch is, but did nobody ever say, like, hey, Kirsch, maybe today just keep your shirt on?
I mean, you can kind of do what you want. You know what I mean? The guy's got a lot of hardware. He's done a lot in this game, and he's showing it off, man. I mean, whatever it is, it works. It worked for a long time. So,
True.
You know what I mean? Maybe he's just setting an example, saying like, this is what greatness looks like. You know what I mean? But no, it's Kirsch was big. Kirsch was big on shirtless Sundays and all that fun stuff. And so he's a great guy to have in the clubhouse. Great guy to be around. Just super down to earth, super humble, and just a great teammate and guy that I was so blessed and lucky to play with and learn from, obviously, over these past 2 years, because him being someone that I looked up to growing up was huge. So But yeah, he's the man. And no one ever told him to keep his shirt on. I don't think anyone in that clubhouse has the right to tell him what to do at a baseball field.
That's fair. That's fair. But shirtless Sundays, I don't even want to know what that meant. So we're just going to skip over that real quick. But here's
Don't
my
worry
next
about
question. I'm not. That's why I skipped it. But here's the thing. Do you think that when in 2029 or 2030, when you're on Team Poland, that Clayton Kershaw will still be pitching for Team USA? Because he retired, but here he is pitching in the WBC for Team USA.
So here's the thing. He just had another new baby. So at that time, he might have like gotten out of baseball for a little bit, and then he'll be back ramping up at that time, if I had to guess. So, but no, he's got a lot of kids to worry about now. So hopefully that'll keep him out of our way. You know what I mean? Hopefully we won't have to see him.
Perfect. Good. That's smart.
Justin, 2 questions. It's about jewelry. Have you worn last year's ring, and have you seen what the new ring for this year is going to look like?
Of course, I've worn last year's ring, but not in public. Just like, around the house sometimes. Just
on shirtless Sunday. Shirtless Sunday,
no,
just the ring.
No, see, you're misunderstanding the way shirtless Sunday works. That's the problem. So, but no, it's sometimes wear it around the house, sometimes just look at it, all that fun stuff. But it's just kind of hard because those rings are so big. It's like I don't want to wear that in public, and you know what I mean. Like I like what the Thunder did with their ring, where there's that little ring inside of it that you can kind of wear around. That thing, that's kind of a good touch. I haven't seen what ours look like this year, but I'm sure if they're anything like last year's, they're going to be incredible. And yeah, it's crazy that I get to talk about, yeah, last year's was good, maybe this year's will be better, kind of thing, which is pretty funny to think about. But yeah, it's super cool. I'm excited to see it. And I'm sure they're going to do a great job with it.
All right. Go Kratzy. No,
it was supposed to be you. I didn't have any more questions.
Okay. All right, Justin, by the way, I just want everyone out there in the Twitter world and in the chat that I am not disrespecting Clayton Kershaw. He's one of my favorite people I've ever talked to. So by saying to keep his shirt on, it was more of just like he's got the dad bod, and most people expect professional athletes when they take their shirt off to look more like, shredded guy than
Scott.
The average guy. Yeah, like
and
Scott.
That's the beauty of our game. That's the beauty of our game. That's the beauty of our game. You can be jacked and be way worse than a guy that's not jacked. It's the greatest part. That's why it's, the best game. There's so many guys that can get it done so many different ways. You can be 5'4", you can be 6'13", like some of these guys are now coming up, and you can still get it done. So it's a great sport, and that's definitely part of what makes it awesome.
Agreed. 100%. Now, to my next question, which was going to be your free agents. Are you tired that your team is ruining baseball because they keep signing good players and you keep collecting rings? Like, are you so sad and mad and you're like, you know what? I don't want to play for the Dodgers anymore because we keep signing really good players and I'm just got a chance to get another ring.
I know. That's the worst, right? It's the worst to want to win. You know what I mean? Isn't that awful?
Isn't that the point, though?
Man. I know. No, it's it's crazy. I'm sure a lot of people are upset with it, but it's like we're making a lot of money too, as a team. So maybe it's a good formula. I don't know, but yeah, it's great to get all these good players, and I'm so blessed and fortunate to be a part of this organization who continues to show, the fans and of the organization and everybody that they want to win and they want to keep winning. And yeah, it's again another beautiful thing about this sport is you can spend a bunch of money and not win games, and it's crazy, it's unpredictable, and I think that's why people love it, and I think that's why in my opinion we have one of the best leagues and best sports in the world. And but yeah, it's great. I hate that we want to win so bad. It does suck.
You had kind of mentioned it, glazed over a little bit, but have they told you what your role is going to be this year? Have they said, hey, you know what, in April, May, it's this, and then we'll see where we go from there? And how do you work your way up to that if it's uncertain?
Yeah, I think, they've been transparent with me about kind of what they want to build me up to in spring training and all this and that. But I think for me, it's just like be ready as a starter, be ready as someone who's going to eat a bunch of innings, and you can always taper down from there. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Is just stay ready for whatever opportunity comes my way, and as we know, there's always stuff that happens throughout the season, and eventually you got to step up and be the guy. And I think that's kind of what my thought process has been, is just like keep grinding, keep getting better. Be ready as a starter, and if they use me out of the bullpen in a length capacity, I'm ready. If they use me in leverage, I'm ready. If they use me in whenever I need to take the ball, I'll take the ball. So I think that's kind of been my thought process.
Okay, so we showed all your World Series highlights, and you showed all these pictures of you with the trophy, and you're hanging out with all your teammates. But you know who was missing from those photos? Shohei. Do you have a picture with Shohei? Because I was fortunate enough to get my picture with Shohei about a month ago. So do you actually have a picture of Shohei and yourself?
I don't. I'm too nervous to ask him.
You know see?
It's kind of tough to just be like, yo, Show, you want to take a picture right now? Like, I'm sure, being the guy he is, he'd say yes right away. But like, that guy's got a lot of things to do. He's got to go eat 6 innings and punch out 13 people, and then he's got to hit 3 home runs, and so he's got a lot to do. He's got media to worry about. He's got he's got a family, so like he's got a lot on his plate. So I don't want to bother him with a picture. When he's got so much going on. But no, I'm sure Show would be just fine if I walked up and said, "Hey, let's take a picture." But at the same time,
even on shirtless Sundays,
I know I was there.
Even on shirtless Sundays, would he be okay with that?
It just depends on, it depends on a lot of things. Okay. But you never know. You never know what you're going to get.
That's fair.
Do you feel like you don't do enough when you watch all the stuff that he does?
I feel like that so there's certain guys, and I think, if you've been in baseball long enough, like there's certain guys that are in the weight room for 4 hours doing all this crazy stuff. And then there's certain guys that don't need as much time. And so it's like, you just have to figure out what you need to do to get ready. It's funny. I've been talking about this the past couple of days to like keep your body where you need to be. But yeah, in watching Show, you feel like, all right, well, like my job's not that hard. He's doing all this and he's the best at both of them. So, but I also think about how much fun that would be to like, just know that you're the best player on earth. So it's pretty cool. He works so hard at what he does. And that's obviously part of why he's so good, is he has the God-given talent. And then on top of that, he works really hard at his craft. And yeah, it's impressive to watch. It's impressive to see how he like fits everything in and weaves it. And, while playing a game where you play so many games in a season, and it's impressive. It's, special. It's, everything you'd think of him. He's better. It's crazy.
All right, Justin, last one. Evan Phillips just re-signed with the team. What does he bring to not only the roster, but just that like bullpen life?
Yeah, Eep's a really, really good dude, man. He's one of the guys that he's been really, really good to me since I came up. He's a good friend. He's a good teammate. He's kind of all that. Obviously sucked to see him have TJ, but I've kind of been able to, even I've talked to him a little bit about that kind of stuff because I had TJ as well. And so he's working back from that. He's the man. He's really, really good player, really good, guy to talk to about, big situations. And even last year, during the postseason run, just talking to him about stuff, and just during the year in general, just kind of talking to him about, how to navigate, certain innings and how to navigate lineup. And, because it's a little different as a reliever than it is as a starter. And there was a time where he was rehabbing last year when I had a tough one against Washington and got sent down, and kind of talked to him for 30 minutes, just like about this and that. So great teammate, great guy to have in the clubhouse, great person. So really happy to have him back. And he's really, really good too. So on top of being a great dude, he's a really, really good pitcher. So we're pumped to have him back.
Justin, thanks for the extended time, man. This was great. Hope you enjoyed it.
Facial hair. Are we going with facial hair this year?
I don't think so. I think I'm going to keep it off. For now. Be a different guy for a little bit. It's kind of fun to see everybody's reaction when they see me for the first time. They're like, "You're a different dude. My hair's a little shorter, no facial hair." Kind of fun to change it up, keep people on their toes a little bit.
Yeah.
I like it. Where's the golf game today? Or you didn't already finish, did you?
No. I just got done at the field. We're about to go play here at Wigwam, if you know what that is out here.
I have.
And
You forgot I was at the ranch for a long time. I was but I was on the side without
on the
the
poor side.
oases and the pools and the girls and the people that feed you grapes with fans. I was on the White Sox side where it's like desert with no
He was
water.
on
yeah,
the
that's
JV.
the depressing side. I've been over there a few times. I played the ACL for a long while, as like a month and a half. So we know about that.
Long time. You're a grinder.
It's
You're
the
a grinder.
JV side.
6 weeks.
It's the
grinder.
JV side.
Yeah.
There's a noticeable difference. Trust me. When you cross it's like when you cross the line in between.
Yeah. It's
Different air.
Yeah, it's like everything just changed. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird how one side has all those things and the other side does. I don't know.
Well,
plants are alive,
water and stuff.
There's a deeper story to all that, and maybe we can get into it when Will Venable joins us in like 10 minutes.
No.
Let's get Justin. Let's let Justin go. Justin, enjoy. Have a nice round out there. Thanks again. This was awesome. Really appreciate you. Great to getting to know you a little bit more on here.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys.
Thanks. That's Justin Wrobleski, Los Angeles Dodgers, with us on FT. Let's let him go play golf. And for the FT audience that doesn't know about Dodgers territory, they had Andrew Friedman on recently. Doc Roberts coming up in about a week. They'll sit down with him in person. Katie Wu is a new addition to the team with Alana and with Clint, part of the FT network. Give them a sub if you don't already on YouTube. All right, let's keep going with signings. There's 2 more to get to that broke today. Jordan Montgomery has agreed to a $1.2 million deal with the Rangers. There's also $1.75 million in potential bonuses. He is still working his way back from Tommy John surgery. Target is around the All-Star break. Reunited.
And it feels so good. Last time they got Jordan Montgomery back around the All-Star break, they won the World Series. So are we doing the over-under today on BetMGM for the Rangers? So I'm going to take the over now that Monty's back.
I can't believe they're running it back. I can't believe it. It's unbelievable. They're running it back. What idiots they are.
You sound like a fan of another team that's not happy when the same players return to the team. Now, Jordan Montgomery's been away from this team. Now he's returning to this team. Maybe it brings the mojo back because ever since Jordan Montgomery left, they haven't been as good.
That's what I'm saying.
I actually think he's going to return and pitch well for them. You know, like sometimes these
he's got to get back. Well, it's funny is I forgot last year he was with the Brewers. You guys remember he was with the Brewer. He was with the Brewers, right? So I go in to do Milwaukee, do a Brewer game, and I'm like, wait, he hadn't been to Milwaukee. He was there for some like community service award, even though he wasn't really on the team. He was on the IL when he got traded. But I walked in and he walks in, and I was talking to Vassallo and some of their reporters, and I was like, "Oh, Monty," and they're like, "We've never met him." I'm like, "Oh, he's out in the tunnel with his wife." And they're like, "Oh." And so he walked in the clubhouse. Nobody had ever met him because he never was there.
Did anybody interview him?
I don't know if anyone, I think somebody probably did, but it was just,
it
was one of those like strange things that you never thought because you think like, oh, you forgot that he got traded to the Brewers. And then you forget that he was technically on their team, even though he never pitched. But then he shows up for the first time. And nobody knew. Nobody like was like, "What's up, dude? Like, it's so good to see you, man. How's the rehab?" It was like awkward. He was going around like, "Hi, I'm Jordan Montgomery. Nice to meet you." And everyone's like, "What the?" It was weird.
For a rehab time, not for a long time, because he wasn't going to pitch with them.
No, I know. That's why it was so strange.
Yeah, it was weird.
But anyways, welcome back, Jordan.
Maybe he learned a thing or two out in Milwaukee. But for the Rangers, even on the PR side, him being around the organization, they love him in Arlington.
They should. He
Texas
got him a
and
World
Dallas
Series
and all of that. They love him. He was a dog for
That's
the
the American
Rangers
Missile.
years ago. Yeah.
That's the American Missile. He came to spring training the one year when we had Chappie, and he was like, "You know what? If he's the Cuban Missile, why can't I be the American Missile?" And then COVID hit, and his velocity went down. So, but forever, he'll be American Missile in my heart.
He can have that nickname. I'm fine with that. I like it. I hadn't heard that one. So you just mentioned the Brewers. They're up next. They signed someone. An old friend, Gary Sanchez, 1.75 mil.
Who is going to be their backup? Is this the first big league signing they've had?
I think it is. Am I missing someone? Chat, help me out or make me look stupid. Am I missing someone?
Well, you do that on your own. You don't need the chat.
Thank you. Am I missing someone that the Brewers signed?
I thought they signed somebody. I just talked about it yesterday. I thought they signed somebody early, like a pitcher that. But anyway, El Gary, my ex-teammate. I mean, you can't. I guess William Contreras can't play every day. I don't even know who the other backup was supposed to be. I honestly thought there'd be a Jonah Heim sighting in Milwaukee because they value the receiving part of the game a lot, and Jonah Heim, I think could have fit into this roster in a way as a switch hitter. Contreras can DH a little bit more, but El Gary going to go try to hit some dingers.
He's going to be the backup catcher.
There you have it.
Clearly.
I mean, he didn't play much last year. He was hurt.
He was hurt a lot.
He ended up, I was looking, I'm like, man, even less than I thought. 29 games, 101 plate appearances with the Brewers. Bad. And with Milwaukee the year before, 89 games, 280 plate appearances, 699 OPS, below average OPS plus. So it's fine.
Yeah,
below
fine.
average?
That year? Yeah. Well, not for a catcher, but
for a catcher, it's above average.
It is above average. I think it was 94, so it's a little above average. Fine, Kratz. It's fine. I mean, it's fine. It's a backup catcher who's got some pop for you. I mean, he should be an above average backup catcher.
Yeah.
More hitting potential.
Agreed. Yeah, but he hasn't really been. I mean,
he hasn't been Gary in a long time.
It's been a long time.
It has.
Knowing backup catchers, I was one. If El Gary is your backup catcher, it's an upgrade. Sorry, yeah. I get it. He's not going to hit 20 homers in his first 25 games for the Brewers, but it's a good backup. To me, that's the upper tier of backup catchers.
Agreed. Totally agree. Same page. That's an upper tier backup catcher that can do some things
healthy,
for you on offense if he's healthy. The one thing I'll say with him, because I'm just remembering this, I'm not even going to say the name of the person who's a friend of mine who's prominent in our game. He was like, this guy's got, he didn't say Pujols production potential, but he was making like Pujols comps.
Who?
Back in the day. No, I'm not doing it right now. But
you look at his.
My question is, Kratz is a big fan of him for years. When you do look at the career, this guy hasn't lived up to what many thought he was going to be. I know he's nice and he's had a nice career and he's hung around for a while, but when he came up,
he was going to live up to that hype. Especially, it's really hard.
People thought he was going to be a superstar, and he just wasn't. And you guys play the cat. You guys play the.
He was
position.
a superstar for about 1 year, and then a lot of things went wrong. Remember the path fall problem he had,
right?
And then he was basically just a home run hitter for a long time.
You guys play the position where guys get hyped and fall below expectations more than any other position in baseball.
Yes, because it's hard.
It's hard.
Because it wears you out.
There's more things that can go wrong that can derail that hype. And I wouldn't say it was just hype. I mean, you talk about 16 was incredible, almost won Rookie of the Year with 200 at-bats. That was awesome. 17, we were 1 game away from going to the World Series. We lost to the Astros. He had 33 homers, a OPS plus of 126. 18, he only played in 89 games. 19, played in 106 games, still had an OPS plus of 119. So it was a good start to 4 years. I remember even in 20, Cashman came in. We were in COVID, and Cashman came in, and we were kind of going through like a rough patch, and he was going through like why he believed in the team and why, the guys that were on that roster. And he was like, we have a catcher on this team who needs to get back to the Hall of Fame track that he's been on for the first 4 years of his career. We have to get back to, Aaron Hicks being the guy that they gave the extension to. And like, Gary was one of those guys, and I think really after that 19 season, I hit on it a few years ago on the show, but that it wasn't just hype. It wasn't like prospect hype. He was having a lot of production from the catching position, which just adds more to things that AJ did in his career, staying healthy, playing, catching 1,000 innings, and doing what he did for so long, that it needs to be talked more about in the Hall of Fame category because it is so freaking tough at that position.
There's examples every year in a variety of ways. There's Henry Davis, first overall pick, and even if he wasn't supposed to be first overall, top 10 pick and super hyped, and right, he's found himself, he's found a lane, but he's not a star. Adley Rutschman kind of emerged quickly as a potential star, all-star looking player, and then his production has dipped down on offense, right? It is
Jonah
tough to
Henry
maintain both. That's what I just said. Henry
Joey
Davis.
Bart,
yeah.
Matt Wieters, remember he came up with all the hype, and then it kind of fizzled a little bit.
Yeah,
It's
for
hard.
sure. Yeah. Those guys are solid big leaguers,
I still
right?
think Rutschman has a chance to be pretty good.
I do too. I'm not saying I'm not
just-
putting him in the same category. I'm just saying like he was hyped as like this could be the best player in the sport, and now it's like okay, let's see if he gets his bat back on track first before we start throwing out.
You know what's
all-star
strange
status.
about a lot of catchers, and I think Kratz would agree with me. It's a lot of times now, Buster Posey, Joe Mauer aside, probably. Even though Joe didn't catch as long and he moved to first, and Buster played 10 years and kind of also had to move to first, had some injuries, sadly, but they're both going to be in the Hall of Fame. A lot of times it's like kind of catchers that you don't hear about that have really nice careers that kind of just fly under the radar. Like, I'll use Kurt Suzuki, because he came up in Oakland, right? He wasn't, I don't know if he was, but he was like a second round pick when he got there. But he had a very nice career by just being steady, right? Steady. Yadi Molina back in the day when he came up, they had Mike Matheny. They had to get rid of Mike Matheny to clear room for Yadi. Now, I don't know. He wasn't obviously the super high draft pick like he was, but he became something, right? It's catching is so hard to predict, man. It's the hardest. It really is the hardest position to predict.
Oh, no doubt. All right, let's get to our next guest.
Ethan Salad.
It's Zack Gelof of the A's joining us right now on FT. Excited to talk about where Zach's going to be. You have a chance to actually meet him in Arizona pretty soon. But first off, Zach, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate the time. How you doing? How you feeling?
Feel great. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm excited. I've watched you guys for a few years now, but yeah, feeling healthy, feeling ready to go, and super excited for the season.
Nice. I love it. Okay, so shoulder's good. Everything's in line. Like, what's the plan? And are you at camp already?
Yeah, feeling healthy. Obviously a tough year with injuries last year, but I'm feeling healthy. I head out Friday, which is a few days early, and I think we have physicals Sunday, and then just ready to go with all the guys.
Love it. Hey, how excited are you for this season with the A's? AJ hyped them big last year, and they had that 1 month in May where everything fell apart. It's like pretty easy to sum up the season. The rest of the time, it was like, oh, okay, this team looks special, especially with the young core. Some of those guys getting signed up to extensions this offseason, but all these guys. So tell us about some of them and how excited the national baseball scene should be to follow a team that's actually going to have the same mix of players for a long time now.
Yeah, we can talk to some of the younger guys. I feel like I'm still in that category of being young, but I instantly think of when you're talking about catchers flying under the radar. I mean, Shea Langoliers, like that dude flat out rakes, and I feel like it really goes underappreciated of him, like as a controlling the pitching staff behind the plate. But obviously, you got rookie of the year 1 and 2, Kurtz and Wilson, and then him, Sodi signed an extension. So it's just really, a fun group to be a part of, and I feel like the front office made some really good moves this year, this offseason to, put us in a really good position, adding McNeil, signing a few pitchers. So it's just going to be really fun, super competitive, and I feel like it's just going to make us all better.
Before we hit the A's, which I love the A's last year, and I love you guys this year, you need to tell Kratz to tell you guys that it's like July in spring training when you guys go to your first game. So that way you guys take off like you seem to do after every All-Star break. So just have Kratz say, tell you guys in the beginning of spring training, Kratz, listen, man, we need to know that it's July so we can start that way. Because once you guys get to July, every year, like it's been like every year, oh, a little slow start, and then mid-June, July hits, and whew, here come the Athletics again.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just change all of our calendars to just 1 month. We'll go July or August, whatever's better, and we'll just post that everywhere. But I think Kotz has it. I think I don't need to say much to him. I think he's got it locked down. But yeah, I like that. Let's just change all the calendars to July. I like it.
Zach, have you seen all the hamate bone injuries that are going on right now?
Crazy. I was just at the gym today talking about it, and yeah, I had hamate surgery last year, which the only difference is I had it top hand. So I had
Really?
it actually. I got hit by a pitch. Yeah, I got hit by a
Oh, see,
pitch
okay.
directly in the hamate, and like I want to say a few minutes before surgery, the doctor in LA and wherever it was at was like, it's funny. I've never had an injury on the top hand, and I'm like about to go under 2 seconds later. I'm like, all right, thanks, man, appreciate it. Like, sounds good.
See, I
You
never
felt
heard
like
of
you
it.
felt like a guinea pig.
I never
I was
heard
like,
of it,
oh,
Kratz.
thanks for saying that. I appreciate it. Like, am I good to go? Like, are we gonna be good in a few weeks? Yeah, but yeah, it turned out well. So
Zach, so we just had Will Carroll on talking about this, and I said, he's like, oh, these guys are getting hit by pitches. I go, you don't normally break your hamate. You break it on the knob of the bat, not by getting hit by a pitch. You break it on the knob when you just swing and swing and swing. So, man, you just
yeah,
proved my theory. We can't have you on anymore. You got to go now. Sorry.
yeah. I mean, it's crazy. The only other person that I think had it done was I think Sean Murphy in Double A had both done, not at the same time, but he got hit by a pitch on his top hand, and that's the only other person that the A's could remember. But yeah, it's a tough thing. I feel like guys are swinging so hard, and especially getting ready to camp, you tend to swing a little bit more, trying to bring it, show what you got early on. So it's just tough, but I feel like it's just kind of luck of the draw sometimes. I feel like just part of the game.
We just had Will Carroll on from our injury territory show, and he was talking about the power. Did you feel that like decrease in power, even though it was your top hand, which I think is more power, but everyone talks about the bottom hand being more power. But did you feel that like ultimately come back as quickly as you wanted it to?
Uh, it was weird because when I was coming back on my rehab assignment, I had a stress reaction in my 11th and 12th rib, which kind of took me off the field again. But yeah, eventually it was weird because with it being my top hand, my bottom hand tended to be way more dominant. So I felt like it was a lot of, spinning out, and it wasn't like a balanced swing. So I feel like with a lot of guys that do bottom hand, it tends to be, um, I guess like it's a mismatch, or it's an unbalanced swing that's tough, and everything's not firing like on all cylinders all at once type of thing. So I think that's the biggest thing with my experience, but I know everyone's kind of different.
When you have a year like you had last year, not only just like with all the injuries, but also like when you get your chance finally, it doesn't go well. Like, do you come into your first day of spring training and go, I'm a different guy. I'm going to show them, and I'm just going to, do you feel like you're a little more on edge, or do you feel like you're able to relax and go, you know what? I'm a really good player. I've been a really good player when I'm healthy in the big leagues. Which end of the spectrum are you closer to?
Man, I would love to just be the calm, like confident player that I know I can be, and then just try to, play my role, bring the energy, bring the competitiveness that I feel like I always bring, and then just have that be my kind of mantra. You obviously always want to bring energy, but I think just walking in and having that calm energy, and just try to be the same guy every day and keep getting better. And I know what I can do at this level, but me being rah rah with a bunch of other guys is not going to do it. So I think it's just going on there, getting better, having some good times with the guys in the clubhouse, and just getting after it every day.
What
Hey,
about playing at
oh, go ahead.
Sacktown every single day? What is that? Not just for you, because you didn't have a full season there, but what have you heard guys saying? Okay, well, going into year two of this, we know this about playing at Sacramento.
I mean, it's tough. I feel like whatever you say about Sacramento, there's going to be headlines with, Severino. I feel like there's a lot of things that kind of came out of nowhere. There not being like a separate room in between innings or whatever it is. But I feel like the situation, it is what it is, and I think that the A's have done a really good job with making it the best it can be. I mean, the facilities are great. Me personally, last year being hurt so often, the food and like recovery aspect was big for me. So like selfishly, like we didn't even have a kitchen in the Coliseum. So like being able to have Kai and some of the other cooks making great food all the time was big for my recovery. But I mean, it's a good place to hit. Tough to pitch at times, but I feel like, our guys are gonna, do a really good job. And I think, we got a good group, so it really doesn't matter where we play.
Zach, what about the WBC this year? You played in it in the past, and then this year you didn't, but your brother, correct, is playing for Team Israel. So what went into
Yeah.
the decision of you not being on the roster and not playing? Was it just the injury situation?
Yeah, yeah, it was no like insurance policy. I know that's going everywhere right now. Yeah, it was me being injured. I mean, I'm probably not even going to be playing full games by the time we play in the WBC. But yeah, I know there's some graphic going around that I was playing in it. But no, that's my brother. He's going to be playing in it and kind of carrying the torch. And hopefully at some point, if not playing for Team USA on the next one, but playing for Team Israel would be cool playing with my brother.
Can we get the scouting report on your brother? And did he play last time around, or this is the first one? I honestly didn't do the homework on little bro. Tell us about him.
So the homework between me and him, we are both the 60th overall pick in our drafts. Both second round pick number 60, both got slot value. He got more money, I guess, because the slot got raised over 2 years, so he's got me on that. But scouting report, he's with the Dodgers. He was in high last year. He was banged up a little bit early in the year, but he's got some raw power. He's got a really good arm. He kind of profiles more as like a third base, first base, could play corner outfield, like really good outfielder too, that I think slept on. But he's got some crazy good power. Like if you want to have a BP sesh of just like crushing homers, like he's your guy. But just a really good hitter too. I mean, he was Team USA, like UVA all-time home run RBI leader. So he straight up rakes, and I'm excited for him to do it, hopefully at the biggest stage.
Wait, he went to UVA too? See, this is how much we don't know about your little brother who needs to come on here. But two UVA guys, you guys couldn't have gone to Virginia Tech one time?
No, we don't like Blacksburg, but I feel like we do pretty good against them. I don't really remember the records, but yeah, we both went to UVA. We played together my junior year, his freshman year. Both went to College World Series and had a blast there. So my family had a lot of travel expenses that year, but yeah, it's been fun. It's a good ride. We're training every day together down here in Florida, so yeah, he'll have a good time, and yeah, hopefully nothing but success for him this year.
Tell us about your WBC experience last time, because there's a lot of teams that are talked about. Everyone's like, oh, US, Japan, Venezuela, Dominican. Tell us about your experience, because we had Garrett Stubbs on last time when it was 2023, when you guys were making your run there. Like, tell us your experience going into that and the guys that you got to meet and all the, playing the different teams.
Yeah, so I had a really great experience. Meeting a bunch of the guys on Team Israel was a blast. Ian Kinsler being the manager, Osmus, who was actually the bench coach when I was coming up with the A's, Euclid, like like what do they call him, the king of walks or the king of OBP or whatever. That was great. And then overall, like playing experience, I hadn't debuted. I debuted in 2023 after All-Star break. So going there and I mean, it's the second inning. I'm playing against DR, and it's like one out, nobody on, and the whole crowd screaming like "Ponche, Ponche" with like drums, like music. It's a concert, and I'm like, man, this is like baseball. Like this is baseball at its core. Like super passionate people. Like this is what it's all about. And then I debut later in the year, and it's like, oh, like I'm in the Coliseum. There's not a ton of fans, and I feel like it's like I'm ready for it. If I played in the WBC, I can handle, the big leagues. So.
What do you mean the Coliseum didn't sell out? Wait, they didn't?
Not that day. There was some buzz because it was me and Sodi coming up, but we got some good turnouts a few games. Yeah, it was a good time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because sometimes I played there. I played playoff games there, and there was like a whole bowl of empty seats at times.
Hey.
So, I mean, anyways, the Coliseum, the Oakland
know.
Coliseum. I mean, you go from
There are
WBC.
people like There
no,
are
listen,
people.
the 10
Verlander, he trains at the gym I train at down here, and he said the craziest place he's ever played at was the Coliseum during that playoff
Sure.
game. So when the fans showed up there, it got rowdy and it was loud. But
No, agreed. The 5,000 to 10,000 fans that they had every game were diehards, and they were crazy. Trust me, they were.
Yeah.
They
Well,
were
they had the core, and then you'd get like the outer core for
Yes.
some games.
Yes,
But
but the core
was
they had the
always
marching band out
nuts.
there in left field, and they had
Yeah.
all the flag people doing their thing, and everybody had their sign and their cheer and their dance. It was really cool to go there.
Yeah, and this is before the Manfred man, so you'd have 16-inning games too
Oh,
sometimes,
and
and
you-
the core
yes.
would stay, and they
Oh.
were loud, and it was I got into the whole fan base there from that extra
Yes.
inning games in Oakland where I'd be working doing a highlight show, and I'm watching the game, and I'm like, it is nuts there,
It's crazy.
and it's late. So
It's crazy. Zach, since the A's are signing everybody to extensions, do we have extension talks on the table for you here? Or- I mean, they're
Man,
locking these guys
after
up
my
left and right. Let's go.
After my last year and a half, I would not approach me with an extension, but hey, like always all years. I mean, yeah, great group of guys signing long-term extensions. You know, obviously the move to Vegas should be pretty cool. So, yeah, I feel like as an organization, we're excited for the future, but also like trying to live in the moment and trying to make the playoffs this year, you know?
All right, so we can discuss this at the Playmakers Classic here. It's a week. It's actually 1 week from today. We're going to be out there. Well, I'm going to be out there. And you're going to be there, correct, at the Playmakers Classic, so we can talk
first
extension.
timer.
He's what?
First time.
Oh, it's your first time.
You tell him what to
Even
expect.
better.
First
So
time.
I can't wait to get your autograph. We're going to eat lots of food. You can buy me a free drink, I think,
Yep,
maybe.
free drink.
Free drink. So
Man, I need to ask for your autograph first, but yeah, I got you.
No. So I'm just gonna walk around. We'll probably get you to talk to us for a minute or two at it. But it's a cool event. Players are there. Explain your involvement in this and why you're going to it for the first time.
Yeah, so I guess first off, I'm super excited for this. I've never gone, obviously, but yeah, it's my first year as basically like being part of the Playmakers or the ambassador program. And I'm just super excited to learn about how I can, give back more to the community and what other guys before me have done, what the guys are currently doing, and then just kind of all kind of coming together and have a really good time at a good event. So super fired up, and hopefully can get some of my other teammates to come out because it'll be a great time. But this is something that's been pretty important to me. Really didn't know about the ambassador program. Me and my brother started our own foundation. I want to say 3 years ago, because we do a camp over Thanksgiving break back in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. So that's a great event. We're kind of just me and him are trying to figure out how we can give back even more, and I feel like this is another avenue where we can learn more about it and just bring another level of excitement to it.
Yeah, and I'll just throw out there because they have a silent auction and it's pretty loaded. Super Bowl tickets for next year, Messi autographed jersey, NASCAR Cup Series VIP experience, autographed Jeter, Judge, and others gear. There's a lot going on over there. And yes, like AJ mentioned, top class food, drinks, big celebrities that are going to be there. And usually, Zach, for you to know, it's one of the few events on the baseball calendar where you can get dozens of current players all in the same spot. Of course, for us, that's part of why we go. So we like to highlight charities that players are promoting. Like, that's important to us. We try and talk about this really all year. But the other thing is, you'll see there 50 to 100 players. And last time we were there was about 100 current players that were at this. Of course, you can't get the dudes that are in Florida, but Arizona's the spot where it's close by. So you'll be able to see some players that you might be going up against actually pretty soon in spring training.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. And yeah, super excited. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go, but I mean, there's so many events, so many players to show up and just bring in another level of excitement and raise some money for good.
All right, last one. AJ doesn't know this because he lives in Florida, but there's a state called Delaware. Do you know, that's where he grew up, do you know the best player to ever come out of Delaware? Because I'm just right across the border in PA.
I mean, like Paul Goldschmidt has the highest WAR out of any Delaware player, but like, does it even count? I think he was born in Delaware and moved to Texas when he was like 4. So
Does it count?
I don't know. I guess it counts. You got the Delano DeShields family, ballers. Like the one I can think of is like an old timer, Chris Short. Went to my high school back in the day. It's actually Chris Short Field is our high school field. So, but yeah, I guess final answer would be Paul Goldschmidt and hopefully, some other guys soon.
Facts. I love it. I love it because
Is that the
you
answer?
don't get- It's what?
Is that the answer?
Yeah,
That's
Kratz,
the
you didn't
answer.
say
Paul
what the
Goldschmidt.
answer is. It's
Oh
Paul
yeah, it's Paul
Goldschmidt.
Goldschmidt. He got it right. But
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that people knew that Delaware was a state because a lot
The
of people
first state.
don't.
The first state.
What
It's
did
the
they think
first
it was?
state,
What do people think it is?
and it's part of the North. So
And it's the LLC state.
Yes,
We
it's
gotta
where everyone goes
represent.
to have an LLC. And there was just a
And-
president from Delaware, I'm pretty sure. Wasn't there a
Yeah, I
president
mean,
that was from Delaware?
Joe Biden.
Biden.
Joe Biden lives in my hometown, so I live right down the street from him. Basically, his beach house is down there, and his son, Beau Biden, was my dad actually worked under him when he was a prosecutor for the Department of Justice. So, kind of small world in Delaware.
See? Delaware
Yep.
is real.
Yeah, no one ever doubted it.
Kratz was just checking with you.
Oh, I'm
He
like,
said,
AJ didn't.
I think you missed the
AJ
joke.
didn't.
He would like teach AJ about Delaware.
Oh,
It always
Ocean
pops
City-
up. Everyone has businesses connected to Delaware. That's a legal thing,
I
just
thought
so you
Ocean
know.
City was in Maryland.
Ocean City's in Maryland. There's one in Delaware, and there's one in New Jersey. So there you go.
Didn't know that.
Well, Zach, you're representing, man. I hope you enjoyed this. You'll get more of AJ in about a week.
Wait, Zach's in Palm Beach if he's working out with Verlander. So you're in Palm Beach in the winter?
Yeah, I'm in Palm Beach Gardens, West Palm area. Yep.
Smart guy.
Great area. Seriously.
Smart
That's
guy.
a good spot. And he gets to train with JB. Not
And
bad.
Scherzer's there. There's a ton of guys that are
Yeah,
down there.
that's a great spot to
There's
train.
a ton of guys that are at that place.
Yeah.
Smart.
Well,
Smart
maybe we'll
guy.
get some stories about those guys when you see them in a week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Zach, we enjoyed it, man. Thank you for joining us. Hope you did too. And we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks. That's Zack Gelof of the A's. And we're back. And then here's the plan. Will Venable is going to join us, I think, in the next few minutes. So before that, let's hit Leo with a unique one today. Okay, BetMGM Futures, ready for this? They have a special for first-time champions. So if you think we will have a team winning a World Series for the first time in franchise history, it's plus 500. They group them all together. If you think no, it's minus 700. Mariners, Padres, Brewers, Rays, Rockies. There are
No.
3 teams in there that have a chance.
3?
Seattle, yes.
There's one.
Just Seattle?
Yeah.
San Diego and Milwaukee have no chance.
Not as they're currently constructed.
Okay.
Not in the National League. I'm sorry. And I love both those organizations, and I love both of those fan bases, and I love a lot of the players they have on those teams. But as they're currently constructed, no, they don't. Seattle was real close to going to the World Series last year for the first time, and they didn't. And they gave up the homer. Munoz gave up the homer. Remember? So
Seattle should be
actually,
better.
it wasn't even Munoz. Munoz wasn't in the game. I apologize. Sorry.
No, Munoz wasn't in.
Yeah. It was
Bizardo.
Bizardo
Yeah.
gave up the homer. But
Mariners
No.
should be better.
to me, the Mariners are the one, but I'll still take the no. We got to lay it a lot.
Yeah. That's a lot to
But
lay
I'm still a
down.
no. It's a no for me, dog.
You get a 5-team special there. Really a 4-team special. I mean, are the Rays going to win? Not likely. Rockies have 0% chance. The other 3 teams, like the Padres, maybe everybody's healthy. There's an uptick in power from some of the guys who live back up to the power. What's the word I'm looking for? Potential.
Potential.
Yeah, that's the word. Thank you, Kratz. It's not like it's out of the realm of possibility. It's just that a lot of things would have to go wrong for a lot of teams. What?
It's not. I'll take the no for sure on that, but I would honestly just rather go individual spots with Seattle and maybe a little bit less with San Diego. I would agree with AJ that a lot would have to go right for San Diego. Like they would have to really make one other big splash here, and I don't know that there's enough time for that. But AJ Preller can do a lot. He can do a lot.
He can. Things can change, especially at the trade deadline. It did last year.
Yeah.
Still a really good bullpen.
Agreed. I just don't know if they have enough to beat the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Mets, the Cubs.
Yeah, I know.
Brave.
Just trying to be a spring hopeful.
I know.
Thanks,
Braves,
Scott.
Brewers.
I got you.
Only one of those teams can win, by the way. So you say you get 5 chances. The Rockies ain't winning the World Series.
No, they're not.
Not today.
Hey, there's a Winter Games hockey odds boost token to score a bigger payout. You can see the greatest hockey players set to face off on the global stage. It's the Olympics.
Mhm.
Activate your odds boost token for any Winter Games hockey bet. You'll receive a bigger payout if your bet wins. Yes, Olympics are going on right now, people. Gambling problem or concern, there's help. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, we're back. And so our spring training tour is stopping in most camps. You can't line up with every single team.
Mm-mm.
So there's some teams that we have to line up right now in terms of conversations. And we're excited for our next guest to get caught up with. White Sox manager Will Venable is back on the show. Will, it's great to see you. You look great. You look like you're getting younger, which actually, you know what, I do want to start there because most guys look like they age 10 years after their first year on the job. So what's your secret? How you doing?
Clean shave.
That's
What it
true.
is. He's clean shaved and he has a hat on.
There you go. Yeah, hat, little shadow to cover up the wrinkles. But no, doing good. Good to see you guys. And just excited to be around our young group, man. They keep me young.
Can I see that hat? What can we get the one shot of Will? So what the heck is on that hat? Oh, it's a cactus.
Oh,
It's a cactus with some flowers.
Oh, I was like trying to figure. I'm like, is that fireworks from the scoreboard? Like, what the heck is that? Is that a
That would make
special
sense.
New Era hat?
Yeah. Are those the new spring training hats?
It must be.
Yeah, new spring training hats for this year.
They look
Gotta
great.
get me one. I got to call Rob or J Dog and get me one of those because I like it.
Yeah, Rob will hook you up.
Yeah, he better take care of Rob for a long time. All right.
All right, AJ's obviously going to ask a lot of questions. He watches every White Sox game. I'm just going to start with the headliner right away because I want as much as you can give me on Murakami coming to camp, what he's like, what you're seeing out there. Jesse Rogers was in camp. He was tweeting the other day. I think it was yesterday. Like one ground ball goes by him, he's going to retrieve it. They're like, dude, you can leave it. Just like give us everything in your first, whatever it's been, 24, 48 hours with him.
Yeah, first of all, I think the thing that sticks out is just the personality. Speaks a lot better English, or at least understands more English than I certainly gave him credit for. Just a really personable guy, charismatic. There's just an energy about him. And I think the thing that really stands out too is, this guy's a winner, man. He just wants to win. He'll do whatever it takes. It's really come through in the conversations, how he goes about his work. He's very committed to improving on defense, which is something that, of course, I love to hear. We love to hear as we value defense and know how much that means to us. So he's been great, man, and really just can't wait for pitchers and catchers, for full squad to start so we can, get them out there with everybody and really go to work.
One of the videos we just showed was him fielding a ground ball at third. Is there a world where you see something, and what is that you would need to see that he could get 20 games at third base if it gives your roster a little bit more depth?
I think we want to focus at first base, but he's somebody that obviously has played on the other side of the diamond. We want to make sure that that's still a club in his bag. He's someone, again, that is committed and is willing to put in the work to be proficient at both spots. So for us, we just want to support him to be better on defense and know that he can improve both at first base and third base. So I think most of the time you'll see him at first base, but want to keep him locked into third base for sure.
Well, a lot of people thought he was going to be $100 million guy, and he ended up on the White Sox. Was the White Sox recruiting pitch to him, hey, we'll put in a bidet for you, and have you tried the bidet? Because if you haven't, I'm telling you, you need to go in there and try it.
I lived in Japan for a couple of years. My dad played over there, so the bidet and the power of the bidet, I get. But yeah, I think the bidet conversation happened after we signed him, so it wasn't part of the conversations in free agency.
Okay, well then what happened to him? Because everyone's like, he's $100 million guy. He's got a chance to hit 30 plus homers every year. I'm super stoked that the White Sox signed him because I think he adds that power bat in the middle to go with Teal and Montgomery and some of the other guys that you guys have coming. So how did the White Sox get him? What was the pitch? Were you in on the pitches? Were you in there saying, hey, I played in Japan. I know a little bit about the culture. Maybe you speak a little bit of Japanese. You did go to Harvard, right?
Princeton, but no Japanese in my back pocket. No, not at all. And really, the process happened really fast, and I just jumped in on the tail end with a Zoom call, just to introduce myself and talk about the things that are important to our organization on the field level and the clubhouse level, just to give them as much insight as possible. And that process again was really fast and not something that I was really a part of up front until it got to that Zoom call. And yeah, I think it's just, great that we were able to get him. We know that this guy's a special player, a special talent. And, I couldn't tell you the first thing about free agent markets or anything like that, but I'm happy we got him.
Have you seen him hit live and in person yet?
I have, yes. It's electric, to say the least. But, at the same time, I think he's, taking it easy almost, really using BP to just fine tune some mechanics, and just kind of get his feel out there. He hasn't really let it loose, but, even his nice and easy BP swings is coming off pretty good.
Is there anything that you want to see in spring training? Because all the talk about his swing, obviously I wanted to ask you, I want to know where he's putting balls. He's, is he putting them over the scoreboard at Camelback Ranch? Is there anything like that? But is there anything you need to see? Because all the rhetoric around him is strikeouts, strikeouts, strikeouts. There's something you need to see in spring training, because you can kind of get a facade of spring training when, Ichiro first came over. He hit 180 in spring, and everyone's like, this is going to be a bust. Well, we know where that happened. So is there something you, in your mind, or your coaches are all saying, yeah, this looks good. It looks like the strikeouts will be to a minimum?
I think, with him, what we found out in talking to him and his experience in Japan, and maybe some of the ways that they train over there are a little different than what some of the things that we're doing here with some of the exposure to the high velo and different shapes in practice. And so, kind of not getting ahead of ourselves and thinking about, what this could look like down the road. We just want to, help support him, in his practice and make sure that, he's, feeling comfortable, that he's really engaging with our coaches and getting what he needs to just practice well and see how he responds from there. And again, this guy is very driven to be at his best, and feel really confident with Derek Showman and Joel McKeithen and our hitting department that we can support him. And just through training, we hope to clean up some of the stuff, that really can help him be an elite hitter in this league.
Well, what do you want to see out of this team? And how do the young guys take that next step? Whether it's Teal, whether it's Colson Montgomery, whether it's Kiro, whether it's Mydra. You guys have so many young guys. You can even throw Mooney in there, right? Because he's a first-year guy in the major leagues. How do they take that next step to become what White Sox fans are hoping, which is a really good core that will take you guys to the promised land?
Yeah, so we've been talking a lot about that, and certainly kind of the narrative around our team is after a second half and then a really good offseason, is that there's this momentum, that we feel, going to Sox Fest. The fans feel it, and that's great, and love that and want to embrace it. But we know that if we want to continue that momentum, we really have to start at zero and build habits around the things that we know are going to help us win. And that's, things in the weight room, the things in the training room, the things in our preparation, and then the really core details on the field that we just want to build really good habits around. And so we think that if that's our focus on a daily basis, we'll be able to create that momentum. We'll be able to create an environment and some routines and some daily habits in which our players can continue to take that next step and really grow as a group and turn into the group that we think they can be.
All right, this one's from the chat. Black Sheep asks, Will, what is Kiro's role going to be considering Teal's emergence as an everyday player?
Well, lucky for the position, and you know as well as anybody that it's a very demanding position back there. And yeah, we do consider Teal an everyday catcher, but an everyday catcher is not catching every single day. And Edgar Quero is somebody that between the reps that he'll get behind the plate, we can use him as a DH. Love him against the lefties. Of course, he can hit against righties too. But there's going to be paths to get both of those guys in the lineup. And certainly, Edgar's someone that we value, and we know that's we're better when he's on the field.
Well, let's ask the question.
The classic?
I have a couple questions.
Okay.
Well, no, I have a couple questions. One, I mean, he's Teal, Quero, they're both going to get their at bat, so that was kind of an easier question than the next one. Who's your opening day starter?
Opening starter, yeah, we joked about that with the media guys here when we do our scrum, because of course that's the question that comes up early and often.
Merkin didn't ask, because I know he wouldn't ask that. Because he doesn't want to make you angry.
Mentioned it before we even started. Before we even started, Merk was talking about it. No, I was busting Merk's chops about it. And he's great, and he gets it. And we're going to have a process here where we're going to get going into these games, and we're going to line some things up. We're going to talk as a group. We just haven't had those conversations yet, but certainly excited about our options in our rotation. It'll all work itself out.
Okay, and then I want to ask you about two prospects that have been names for the White Sox forever, and they're two big left-handed prospects. Any chance either of them has a chance, Noah Schultz and Hagen Smith, of possibly breaking with the team out of spring training?
No, neither of them are going to break with our team. We've been direct with those guys about that, and really just want to set them on their path to, get into their routines, get their build-up going. But at the same time, they're going to be guys that help us this year. We know how important they are to our organization for our success this year and in the long term. These guys are two special guys, the way that they work, the people that they are. These are guys that are going to help us for years to come. So we want to just establish some good habits up front here. Let them build up responsibly. Hagen had the fall league stint there, and so just want to make sure that these guys get into the season built up and healthy, knowing that these guys are knocking on the door, and it's going to be real soon when they're in Chicago helping us.
You said you already communicated that with them. Do you feel like you have more or less communication than your managers had when you were coming up to the big leagues as a prospect, or just like up and down in all your experience through your career?
I don't know. I do know that Buddy Black was a great communicator, and that was something that I really appreciated from him. His transparency and honesty really made an impact on me. And as somebody who, was always felt like I was struggling and trying to find a way to be better, and always felt like I was a game away from getting sent down, really appreciated his transparency and his honesty with me. So, had Dave Roberts, as a coach and a manager, was the same kind of guy. And so for me, I understand the value as a player and what that means. And so I try and give these guys as much as we can, and just, be transparent, be honest about their situation, provide clarity around their roles. And I think guys appreciate it. And, this game is tough, and there's a lot of opportunity to think about different things, and your mind can go a million different places. We just want to give these guys some honest feedback, some guardrails to keep them focused on the path and go out and do their thing.
Hey, I know we don't have the opening day starter yet, but what about the opening day closer? Anthony Dominguez, or are you a guy that's just going to roll with the punches as the year goes on? Will you name someone if someone emerges? And I mean, sometimes a guy signs with a team so he can have that role. Just curious for your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, Anthony is our closer, and feel comfortable saying that. We signed him to close games for us. So we expect him to be shutting things down in the ninth inning most of the time. I think there are going to be unique situations. We're playing the Yankees, and Judge is coming up in the eighth, and we got a one-run lead. That might be Anthony's time to pitch a little sooner in the game. But we view him as a closer, and just feel really good about what he provides at the back end, not only in his performance, but how that slots in, Grant Taylor, Jordan Leisure, and the rest of the guys back there that we depended on late. It does a really nice job of kind of slotting guys into better roles for us.
So, Will, I've been told we have time for two more. AJ is going to do one. I'll do the last one here. The White Sox actually picked up a ton of players over the offseason, right? Acuna, Austin Hayes, number of pitchers. We mentioned Dominguez, Hicks recently. Newcomb. So I'm just going to give you the floor to just pick one guy. I'm not asking you to pick a favorite or anything, just one guy to give me either a scouting report or someone you spoke to already or someone you're excited to just highlight from the pickups of the offseason.
You know what? I'm going to go a little outside the box here. I'm going to go Jarred Kelenic. Was a minor league free agent for us, but a young guy who's tooled up. This guy has just very physical. You know, I don't think he's been given or had the opportunity, runway and to really be himself, and really excited that, you know, we're going to create an environment for him to unlock the potential of this dude. So I was certainly excited about all of our additions. But when you think about upside and a guy that, you know, we really feel strongly we could tap into something, really excited about Jarred.
All right. Sounds good. I'm excited for the White Sox for the first time in a long time, Will. But just do me one favor. Bob Bechtel doesn't arrive until a week from today.
Can
you just say, how good does he have it? He's the PR. He's the senior PR director of nothing. But
Bob,
he's not even there, and camp's already started. So tell him when you see him, it must be nice to show up whenever you want.
Yeah, I will. I'll give him a hard time. And, you know, if it wasn't for, you know, heart surgery, I think Bob would be here and doing his thing. So that's the only way that we can keep Bob away from spring training.
Bob has a heart?
We know how much he wants to be. Yeah.
I mean,
apparently.
How old is Bob? That's a great question. How old is Bob?
Here's the thing. Now, yeah, I mean, it went well, I think. So when he comes to camp, if he's being a little nicer, maybe, yeah, things have changed. He's got a little more heart, whatever. Your insert dad joke there. We love you, Bob. Will, great to have you on. What?
No, I'm just kidding.
AJ love hates you. Will, he gets a lot of love on here. Will, great to have you on. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk during the season.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks, you too. Best of luck. That's Will Venable, manager of the Chicago White Sox, and great day of guests. Now we slap.
Whew.
Yes, now we slap. Good day. 4 guests, really busy. Show flew by. Tomorrow, Robert Murray joins us as activity resumes. And there's still a number of, I would say, especially pitchers that we're waiting to see. We mentioned Scherzer and Bassett and Giolito and Gallen, of course. So we'll get back to a little bit of whatever you want to call it, hot stove, if that still is a thing as camps are opening up. Kratz, you want to do your hat and tell us about the other guest that is at least on the docket for now for tomorrow?
Really, just one of my over teams. One of my over teams. Teams is going to hit a lot of overs. So appreciate Zack Gelof coming over and hitting my over.
That's by the way, for the pod crowd. Yep. And wait, tell us about. So we can hit the music. Trevor May's show, by the way, is on right now, May Day. We like to have shows right after FT. So if you want to keep the party going, it's live on the FT network. Dan O'Rourke joining us tomorrow. Kratz, and people are going to be like, "Who dat?" Oh, he's not joining us tomorrow.
He's not now. No, that was
okay. Well, it would be nice if somebody told me these things. All right, maybe another time. It happens. Anyway, we'll let you know about tomorrow at some point. Look for FT on socials. Congrats to the 3 new shows that launched today.